So you have found your way into the University of Lowbrow Astronomers May meeting. The year is going fast, isn't it? Can't believe it's May already. Weren't we just here like a couple days ago? Anyway, so I'm the president of the club, have been, it seems like forever. We have a few other officers in the room and we'll probably get some information from them a little bit later. But first, we're gonna have the thing that we really came here for, as we usually have our guest speakers speak first. But in this case, we are the guest speakers. So, and as you know, what happened is our scheduled speaker, Gary Nichols, had a death occur in his family and he didn't think he was gonna be back in town for tonight. So like I told him, no, you just worry about that, don't worry about anything else. And then Mother Nature bailed us out with a beautiful Aurora show. And I think it was Doug Nell actually was the first guy that suggested maybe we should show those for the meeting. Thank you, Doug, you came up with the meeting speaker. Didn't even know it, did you? The check is in the mail. So what we're gonna do here is, as you know, Jeff has made a special page on our website where he's collected all of these pictures. I have a list here of everybody that has submitted everything. And what I think I'm gonna do is just go through that and I'll call out who it is that submitted these. And if that person is in the room and would like to step up here and talk about those pictures, you know, just come on up. If you're in the Zoom audience, let us know, Jeff will catch that. And we'll, you know, get them on. They should be able to speak to us anyway, let them talk about it. And the last I knew, we only had, what, a couple people in the Zoom audience anyway?
5.
Oh, 5 now, okay.
Just
Cool.
about everybody there.
So anyway, with no further ado, we will start into this. And our first set of pictures here is from Becky Romotowski, who I don't know, she certainly is not in the room, being that she is in New Mexico. That's the other thing you notice, we've got these pictures from a wide range of areas. It's really pretty cool. And I don't think she's in the audience, Zoom audience either, so. Oh, yes, thank you. I thought something was right. Yeah. Actually, can we make this bigger?
Also, I think hers is actually.
Maybe not.
Well, it's a-
How do I get that?
well, those two arrows. Is it the same arrows down here?
Well, that steps through.
No,
Oh, yeah.
those two.
That's it.
There.
Yeah, thanks.
That is full screen.
Okay, all right. So
You do that.
again, we will just go through that each shot.
But
So
full screen would be better because you lose the top and bottom junk.
do you think we are better for that with
I
that?
think so. I know it'll be a little bit weird, but you see, it's better contrast. You don't have the white stuff on
Yeah.
the top and the bottom.
I think you control plus and zoom in that way.
Or maybe.
Well, that's just gonna do the browser though.
Oh, it's like the web page.
We can try it, but it's good. I know her photo is a little on the small side.
Okay.
You might as well just keep, but having it this way. There you go. You go there.
Yeah.
We'll see. So they might get
Just,
too big.
just, if you just use the cursor keys, you should be able to go left and right with the cursor keys.
Oh, these.
See, that'll walk you through. it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't have to click on the thing.
Yeah. We always do have.
Nice,
So
yeah.
ready for the eyes. That's what you leave the mouse on.
Yeah,
So if you can hear me, the screen sharing is not working yet.
Oh,
Hmm.
that probably means we should screen or share the screen.
yeah.
Thanks, Kurt. That would be helpful.
Yes. Should be seeing it now.
Much better, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yes, we know. Okay.
Here's another suggestion. This is Doug Scoble talking. You might want to turn off the information on the photos because it pretty much covers up the photos.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, you're seeing, I don't know what you're seeing or what you're not seeing. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
Yeah, here we go.
That's better.
Yep, okay. So anyway, I'll just kind of slowly step through these, again, all submissions from Becky. Yeah, it looks like I've seen the shot there pretty close to it.
That is, if you hover over the photos, I think the info will tell you who took them. So I think Becky only had one.
Oh, okay. Except that's not done. I have to do this.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'll ask. That's.
And I don't think Chandler Cook is with us either.
Yeah.
But you notice these pictures came all the way from Alaska. In fact, was he the person who was on the cruise ship, I believe?
Yeah, David Cook.
Oh, that was David Cook.
And this is what.
Okay, okay.
This,
Good, so, yeah.
some of them are Chandra's and some of them are
Got it.
David's. These are probably Chandra's, actually.
What's this?
Now look at that.
Oh, it did.
Wow, that looks like angel wings. It gets,
I remember seeing this shot when I was sent. I thought that's cool, seeing the people on the deck of the ship.
yeah.
Yeah, little
That's
streaks in it, yeah.
That
So I remember when he sent the email, they were saying that he was actually concerned about seeing this because it was so bright on the ship. But they found the darkest area they could. And then all of a sudden it just exploded. It's like, okay, no problem. Look at that. Yeah, that was really special. All the streaks and everything in it.
Yeah, that's kind of the classic, the curtain thing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And you notice this is David Cook's shots now. And
Yeah.
we're now back to Ann Arbor. And I assume Andy's not with us anymore. Let's see him. This is a lot like what we saw in Sile Farms.
Montana.
Yeah. Yeah, Montana.
I was surprised at how
How
much.
did that come about?
I can talk to that.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So we gotta get up there where we can hear you.
Yeah, where's the mic? We're not. Just the room mic.
You talk loud.
Yeah. So I didn't have my host up that night because I thought it was gonna be cloudy. So I had no camera ready, nothing. And then right before we went to bed, Cindy goes, don't remember, you want to look at the lights tonight. So I'm like, okay, went outside. And I looked north because and I thought there was a cloud coming. I thought, well, that's the end of that, right? Except then the cloud did something that clouds don't normally do. It was going from east to west. And it changed shape in a weird way and it changed colors. I'm like, that's it, right? So I had Cindy, get out here real quick. And she ran outside and I was just amazed. The only time I think I'd seen the Aurora before was decades ago on a plane flight to England. So the pilot said, look out to the left, right? And that's where I saw the dancing, but I've never seen him from the ground and much less from the southern Lower Peninsula. And I just stood there in amazement. And then I thought, get the camera. So I ran inside, grabbed the camera on my tripod. It's just a cheap DSLR. And I was in a rush, so I didn't focus very well. That's why the dipper is fuzzy lights. I can do better than that. So you can see I took a few shots in succession. And my camera was last set up for like shooting 10-second exposures at night. So these came out wicked bright when I was post processing. I tried to get them down to what I thought I remembered seeing that night. Because I didn't see a lot of color where I was at, and they were kind of dim to me. And I didn't want to fake out the colors, right? I wanted to remember what I saw. But this one I might have cheated a little bit on and pulled a little more green than I thought I might have seen. But I was just really amazed at like how fast it moves. I remember on the plane how fast I thought they were moving. And this is me pointing the camera somewhere else. Right, that's probably how accurate I saw that, right? It was kind of faint to me, not a whole lot of color. And this is me looking north and through the trees where the moon was, it was more maroon to me, or red, or purple. But I didn't get the camera there in time, and it was just too many trees to take a picture through.
Is that the head of Draco?
I don't know, because the Dipper was way up here. And my first shots were down here, so you'll have to.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Can't see it on it.
Oh, yeah. So these, you can see the stars are moving here. I took fewer and fewer, longer and longer time between shots, and I think by now I'm down to like 1 second exposures. And they were still kind of bright. This one I kind of like because the upper right is dark and the lower left is where fingers, curtains, whatever's are coming up.
Hey, Ed?
Yes,
Well, what time was this at night when you took these?
I think it was about 10:30.
Okay.
Actually, Doug Marshall is asking about what time did people start seeing the Aurora?
For me, it was about, when we got out, there was about 10:30.
Question, please.
Yeah.
Do you or does anybody know what causes the difference in the colors between the greens and the violets?
My awareness is that the mechanism of the Aurora is electrons coming from the CME hitting nitrogen and oxygen, raise their orbits one level up. And when they de-excite, they release photons, and that the color you see is the wavelength for those two energy states when they come back down, is what you're seeing. So you're seeing the wavelength of photons, green and green. That's my recollection, is that right?
Green is
Oxygen.
nitrogen, I think.
Yeah.
I forget now.
And then.
No,
blue, I think-
green should be us.
So which element is exciting?
It changes in excitation levels, but I don't remember which elements it's right.
I also read there's a dependence on the altitude.
Yeah.
Like oxygen lower in the atmosphere is a different color than oxygen higher in the atmosphere.
I've got a really great graphic.
Mechanism.
He's got.
It's
That's
blue,
the explanation.
it's blue from around 60 miles, purple above 60 miles, above 150 it's green, and then
Oh,
it goes from like blue, purple, green, red, and that red's the highest.
But it depends on the atomic elements that are dominant in those, in this
Right.
classification.
Yeah, red is oxygen,
There you go.
that's high oxygen, green is low oxygen, and then nitrogen is the blue and purple.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Sure. Thank you. And yeah, that's the end of mine.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a very a good graphic that I'll email people, but basically the top level it was saying is oxygen, that's the red. The next lower is excited oxygen at the lower altitudes, high altitudes is red, lower altitudes is green. And then ionized nitrogen is purple in the higher 60 miles to 96, 60 miles up. And then the blue is 60 miles or up to 60 miles, let's put it that way. That's easier. And then the others are 150 miles up to, and then above 150 miles is the red. So it's a function of height.
So what's the rate? What's the lowest altitude to the highest altitude?
Lowest is up to 60 miles, that's the blue.
Yeah.
Above 60 miles to 150 is going to be the purples. Up to 150 we'll have green, and these are different molecules. The green and red are oxygen, and nitrogen are the blue and purple. And then 150 miles and above are the reds. But I'll send that.
Okay. So it looks like up next is Glenn Katz from camp.
Wow.
That's me.
Yeah.
The previous one was too.
Oh, yeah, back it up. I wonder about that.
So these were done at Independence Park in Canton, which is southwest Canton. Canton is not a very good dark sky place. Yeah. No, it's, I do most of my deep space imaging from my driveway. And luckily, the high power, high magnification of the telescope helps cut down on the effect of light pollution, because you're looking at such a tiny area of the sky. But I had light pollution filters on for these pictures too. These are, all of the ones I did were anywhere from 6 seconds to 15 seconds long. I started out at 15 and it was all blown out. So I dialed it back to 10, and that was sort of a sweet spot in the beginning of the aurora, but this was probably around 10:30 to 11 o'clock. And you could see, not this with your naked eye, but you could sure see some colors in the sky with your naked eye, even in light polluted Canada. So this was facing north-northwest at that time, and I just used I splurged and bought a good DSLR. It's a Nikon D850, and so it has lots of pixels. And this one probably had an ISO of 800 I was using, and this was either 8 or 10 seconds exposure. And
You got the yellow in that.
yeah, you even got the yellow down toward the horizon here. This was my most colorful picture with the big magenta splotch right in the middle. So this is some of the green curtain effect that you see. Again, this is looking due north. And on my computer screen, you can actually see the Big Dipper there, but then you can't really see it really well in this particular, at least I can't look at this screen.
It's okay, it's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one gave me the much nicer tall rays of the aurora. Again, looking due north. This is a Canton Soccer Club soccer field area. And it was very nice because there's no trees for probably 500 yards away from you. So, but there was one crazy guy who pulled into the parking lot at the other end of the field, turned and faced us with his headlights on. You know, and it was so far away, you couldn't go and yell at him. Yeah, so we just had to wait him out. And I just took my camera and just tipped it a little higher so he wasn't in the frame anymore. But he finally did. Then he did it a second time. So. And then this is the last one I think that I submitted. And this probably was, I was getting such a lot of pictures with this kind of color. I didn't know whether I should stop and go home. It was, close to midnight now, but I just kept taking pictures. I probably took 200 shots. Not all of them came out, but these did. And these were, I did process these. This is sort of what came out of the camera, but I took the noise out of the image with a Photoshop plugin. So if you zoom in, you don't see all the little noise that you get at high ISO. And also this camera is really good at high ISO. So I think.
So you got that yellow again. The elusive yellow.
I think that's it. No, one more, I guess. A lot more green in this one. I can't remember the order. I had two cameras, one that was pointing north-northwest and one that was pointing directly north. I actually turned to the due west. You could still see it was mostly magenta colored in that direction for me.
Really
What,
magenta.
from this image, what colors could you actually?
You could see the magenta. Yeah, the green was tougher. I remember seeing the aurora one other time. I was at Point Betsy Lighthouse up in Frankfort, Michigan. And you were looking across Lake Michigan, but the shoreline was going outwards. So there were some little towns out there at the horizon, and there was low clouds too. So those were lit up by those little towns. But just above that, all you could see was green. But those took 30-second exposures to bring those out because it was weak at that time. I mean, what was this? KPA was 9 this night. So, I mean, never in my life have I seen it that high. So I think that might be it. Yeah, this is not me, not mine, it's somebody else.
Did anybody get a reading on the BZ negativity that night?
It was varying,
Okay.
but it was going negative.
Are we talking like -10, -20? Or?
I can't, no, I don't know if it was that.
I didn't know that scale.
I only looked to see that it wasn't.
That was that one we were trying to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
KZ, is that what you said?
The BZ.
BZ. There's KPBZ and Not exactly, anyway.
No, those are the
Yeah.
two important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I was actually referring back to, was it Michelle?
Yeah.
The people we had in January, stayed on the Auroras, and it's like that was there was a chart in there that I saved, that I referred to. It was handy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Another question, please?
yes.
Does anyone know if there have been events or incidents in history that coincided with the Northern Lights? Or it was taken to be some kind of omen or symbol? Confirmation or anything such thing?
I'm sure there was.
Yeah, you'd think there would have been. I can't think of anything I've heard, but you certainly think some of the ancients would look at that and yeah, get all kinds of,
Right.
yeah,
I can only imagine what they thought way back when.
yeah.
Well, if you were in more southern latitudes, I'm assuming the people that lived in really northern latitudes just went, oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's cold outside.
And it's clear, and we got Aurora.
Yeah, yeah.
But they didn't know what that was.
Well, and I think that's a good point, though. They probably saw it so frequently.
Right.
It's not like a comet coming through or something, so maybe they didn't see it as that threatening. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't see Chuck Steele here. He's not in the Zoom audience, is he?
Do not see it.
Okay. So these are Chuck's pictures. I like the way he's got the moon in that one. And China Township is up in the northeastern part of Detroit, way up in that section.
That's nice.
A little bit of a.
So that's the west end, he's had a lot of the same agenda things.
Yeah.
With the
Chris Collins, I don't think he's with us. And this is from Dexter, so this would be just north of where I was at. And I like some of these shots myself that where the clouds were starting to come in. I think the clouds actually add something to it.
Yes.
It's like looking straight up.
Move the cursor out of the image.
Yeah, thank you. No, that was part of the image. What'd you think it was? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's amazing. And this, oh, Matt West. I don't think Matt was with us. Yeah, that was first of Matthews. Yeah, Matthews just learning photography and all that. Looks like he's really catching on, huh?
He's catching on.
Yes, he is.
Yes, look at that.
I think this is just an iPhone too.
I believe that's true.
Got a blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Split. It's not bad.
Almost looks like a giant
It
nebula.
almost looks like a,
You must have a tripod. But, I'll confess this is
wow,
not
look at that.
a member, but it was a friend of Gretchen.
Got it.
They were fantastic photos.
Yeah, that's cool there. So it's gone down to Dundee now, so further south.
Looks like she's holding it.
Yeah. Well, she was the one that caused it all.
It's like, here you go. It's right here.
Yeah,
I'll just cut it right here for you. Look at that. That is beautiful.
yeah.
Oh my God.
They were a couple of jaw dropper photos. It's like, yeah, she's not a lowbrow, but it's like, those I got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was on the highway too, just looking.
Yeah, it's like, where do you go? It's the lights.
Yeah.
Just
I love the
follow the
silhouette.
light.
Excellent composition, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Norb and Jack Underwood. I don't think Norb or Jack join us either way. We will be seeing Norb in a couple of months though. We'll go to the July meeting.
That's not bad for being in hell.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
it'd be better.
Pretty far south.
That's true. Doesn't look hot enough, does it?
That's good though.
Yeah.
It does. She's like going up and down. Wow. Looks like the lights are coming up from the trees.
Yeah, some of that green stuff we saw from the map that I saw. Looked like they were just laser shots coming off the horizon, like beams coming up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, some of the pictures we got. Just shows it. Here, like that. Wow.
The gallery kind of mixes up the order of things, so
Yeah.
sometimes you get them toward the end of the show and sometimes they're at the beginning.
Can someone tell me which direction these were taken roughly by the stars?
This looks like it's looking almost overhead, if you ask me.
I think those two stars is pulling some gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the west.
Yeah, so that would be northwest, yeah. That's cool.
That looks like flowers in the sky.
Got a satellite track or something there?
Yeah. Thank you, Elon Musk.
I was gonna say Starlink.
Right?
Starlink?
Yeah.
Well, did the station crossover? Pardon? About the station crossover.
I don't know. I thought I heard that one time too from somebody, but
Karen Keys just said the ancient Norse believed the lights to represent the Valkyrie.
to represent what?
The Valkyrie,
Oh,
It's regular third quarters.
probably right.
Remember I told you on the driveway, I said that happened, I said, it just went right across the sky, it was when it was pink. Looks like a little bicycle down there. Yes.
Actually, all of the
The
drawings
rock says, okay.
they're from a PowerPoint that he gave to me and we pulled them out of there.
Wow,
That's
look
cool.
at that.
I like that one a lot.
So he's gonna show this series to some of the students.
That's definitely something to do some research on.
The way it's got the moon right above the tree right there.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
nice.
Move the cursor.
And look, it looks like the tree branch is like doing like, okay. And the moon is like right in the middle.
I kind of like this little beam right here too. Hmm,
Wow. That's beautiful.
Like having the landscape at the bottom.
Yeah.
Gives a sense of,
Yeah.
yeah, oh,
Right,
yeah.
good.
that's-
Look at that, look at the reflection in the lake.
So Lima Township is just west of Ann Arbor, between Ann Arbor and Chelsea. And I assume Nicholas,
Nicholas
Not-
Root,
yeah,
he's not
okay.
here unless it's a crowd. And it looks like my captioning color was screwed up. The file name is part of that.
Hmm.
Wow.
Oh, that's neat.
How cool.
I remember getting a shot myself where there was some Aurora, it was like right over the moon and there was a cloud there at the same time. It was a really cool effect. This reminds me of that. Except I think what I saw was just above the moon, kind of over it, but. That looks like he's out on a farm.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that magenta, man. That was the color that really got me in that. That was so intense at the time I couldn't believe it was real.
But if you look at the very top, like where that planet is in pink, it looks like a spaceship, like in a shoot lasers.
Oh, there's one, yeah, it's getting right up in there.
That was, that was taken looking directly overhead. That was like almost straight up.
That's awesome.
So is this Robert?
Yep, this is Robert. This was actually looking straight up and kind of angled to the southeast.
Wow.
Over our-
Beautiful. shot.
And Robert, was this was during twilight technically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably about maybe, no, it was about 10 o'clock. We were pretty much done by 10:45. We couldn't see too much more.
Oh, that's nice.
Look at that, that just looks like
Same direction, Robert?
Yeah, that one's just a little bit more to the south.
Okay.
Things were changing so fast, no matter what, you aimed the camera a different direction and there was something different.
You got a nice job and caught that blue right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And this is kind of that thing I saw on the moon, where it was just this thing like up above. It was really cool.
yeah, it was almost like a cloud burst.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of we only got a couple of the green curtains. This is actually looking to the west. And we only got a couple of them where we saw the green really well. Most of it was that very bright magenta color.
Hello?
Hello?
That's another one.
Yeah,
Yeah, you definitely caught it there.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Wow.
It was just amazing how it just changed as you just stood there watching. Everybody kind of got this. This is looking to the west also. You can see Castor and Pollux in the Gemini up here.
Notice you got just a little remnant of sunset
Yeah.
down here too. That really adds to it.
That's looking, the moon was directly to our west.
Now,
What equipment was parked?
I'm sorry,
what equipment we using?
I was using my iPhone.
Look, that cloud looks like it's just floating through there.
Yeah, the moon's holding it up actually. And I see you've got that yellow right here too.
Mm-hmm. This one might be a duplicate. I was kind of zealous in my submissions, so there might be some duplications here.
Like we mind.
That was another one looking kind of up into the southeast.
A lot of detail on that.
It's beautiful.
Oh, wow, look at
Yeah, that was another one where the moon had gone behind the clouds, but this purple just came,
Yeah.
very.
that. That's awesome. Oh, I like
This
how
one was,
behind the tree it's green. And the
yeah, this
sky.
one is looking to the north.
What's the actual color of this? Is that really the color of that street light right there?
No, the lights are white. I don't know why that one shows up as kind of
Interesting, isn't
green.
it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's their barn lights.
yeah. That's a duplicate. Sorry,
Gross. Let it bother.
duplicate.
That's so beautiful.
This was one. This is actually looking to the east. And you could still see these colors coming over. This was kind of towards the end of our time out looking at them. We were kind of walking back towards the house and I just took this picture over the trees to the east. That's a duplicate. Sorry.
Hmm.
I just.
Another very vivid one.
Yeah, what's cool too is you can see the difference in the purple and the magenta here.
Is there a word for these rays? Are they called sunbeams or any such thing?
Just rays, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's another one, where, that light shows up green and I don't know why.
Because you can get these pulsing things too. I did not notice any of those really, this show. Hmm,
That's.
yeah.
Duplicate, sorry, yeah.
It was changing.
Okay, these are not mine. These are someone else now.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
I know Amy, I believe, is in the Zoom audience.
Look at that.
Oh, yep, I'm here. This is, I just have a few here and I was an hour south of Traverse City. Using a Canon 6D Mark II with a 16 by 35 millimeter lens. I thought I was at 16 the whole time, but I must have bumped it. I guess I'm at 18 millimeter. ISO 1600 and these range roughly about 3 seconds. Yeah, so I thought we had full cloud cover at sunset, and I almost didn't go out later, but I'm glad I did.
It's a good thing you did.
Oh, wow, yeah. I love the reflection
Yeah.
of the water, so detailed. That's, well, it's
Yeah.
dropped.
What's nice too is you see the reflection in the water.
Yeah, it looks like it's dropping in the water.
Yeah.
It's really calm in there.
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Oops, that's a repeat.
No.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Amy.
That's pretty.
And Doug, I know you're out there.
Yep, I'm out here. So I had a slightly different experience. So Friday night, Amy was an hour south of where I am, and we ended up with clouds, and then it rained. So I got totally rained out and clouded out, and so I went out Saturday night into Sunday morning. And this is a shot from Northport, which is about an hour north of Traverse City. And it's a very, very dark park north of Northport. It's called Peterson Park. And the only annoyance is you have a lot of cars coming in, especially with the Aurora. So the headlights are shining. So I had to dodge a lot of headlights illuminating all the foreground stuff. But this here is the first shot during twilight. And it's a little bit cropped here. I'm not seeing the whole picture here, but I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Anyway, it was on my Canon 5D with a 14 millimeter lens. And this is probably ISO, I don't know. I varied it a bit, doesn't matter. It's a wide angle lens. Polaris is right in the middle, and you can just see the inverted Big Dipper at the top. So it's like 117, it's like 117 degrees wide and like 77 degrees tall. So it covers a lot of sky. So I just set the camera on a tripod, tried to frame a couple nice trees for some foreground. And so for most of the evening, so again, this is about 10:20, I believe. What's that?
Oh, nothing. Jeff and
Oh, I
I
couldn't hear.
the order of our
Okay.
sheets has gone off, but
Yeah, you're breaking up. But anyway, so you can go on to the next one. It was kind of like that for a couple hours till after midnight. And then right after midnight, and I'm getting cold. I'm just sitting there waiting, and it's boring, and there's just this dull glow to the north. All the shots look the same. And then right around midnight, it just started getting this amorphous glow. And it reached all the way to the zenith, even a little bit past the zenith, but it was just this even green illumination. I could walk around without a flashlight or anything. It really just lit up all the grounds, and then started seeing streamers. And that's when I really started getting the camera going. And this shot is shortly before 12:30 with these streamers, and it was really dramatic. And then the next shot, there's even more, and this stuff was just moving all over the place. And it was, it lasted maybe 5 minutes. This part of the intensity lasted maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. But it was just as spectacular as most of the auroras I've seen in the past. And then after that, it started diminishing. And I don't know, if you go back,
Wow.
yeah, if you go back,
Back another one?
so Brian Adams sent an email out about some kind of flashing and something like that, and he did a video. And I actually saw that, but it was so fast there was no way I was going to try to catch it on camera, because these exposures were probably 10 seconds, let's say between 5 and 10 seconds. And the flashing was like someone just had a flashlight and was just moving around at random in various parts, and it was just popping all over the place. I've never seen that before, and he actually captured it on his video. So hopefully if we come to his stuff, I don't think he's going to have the video here on this, but if you get a chance to look at it on email, look at it, because it's really, really phenomenal. So I just posted these three, and but I'm really glad I went out Saturday night, and it was a lot of fun.
Those are nice.
That a few done?
That's
And also up north from Petoskey, John Hickey, I don't think he is here.
He's a couple of friends. So they were also,
Okay,
he's actually an executive at Apple.
wow. Oh, that's really
He's
neat.
got some really good color.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, he knows how to use it.
I hope they can see like the altitude shift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
This is
Adrian. I didn't see him. I thought Adrian was going to.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if this is from the Canadian shore that is with Brian or it was from Port Austin.
Where is Port Austin?
It's at the tip of the thumb.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where I think he's at.
yeah, so I'm looking from there,
Yeah.
one of the lighthouses.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it is.
Point Baroque or something like that, or
Right out Barnes.
what is it?
Right out Barnes.
Yeah. Alex. Notice he's got looks like a ship out there on Lake Huron too.
Wow.
Evening. So how many of you guys saw this for the first time last Friday? Okay, I think that spoiled it for us, because like we saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, really good Aurora. Like I don't think any of us expected it to be this good. So this was later in the evening. I think this was around 12 o'clock, and we were packing up for the night. And I just thought, might as well try a self-portrait. This was the best photo I got. So this was, I wanted to get one with the moon and the aurora, but it went behind the clouds because I was rushing to get the tripod ready. I'm actually kind of glad it did, because you kind of see that moon glow, but you also see nearly every color but yellow.
Yeah.
I did take some film photos on 120. Those are still developing, but I'll share that with everyone. Get those. And then this was, so where we were I think 10 miles east of Fort Austin. If anyone knows the location, please tell me, but it's this kind of outlet, not outlet, like little peninsula. And this was looking due east.
Near the Turner Rock formation.
I
Down
think,
that way. There's a teeny town. down
yes.
there that you can almost kayak to for us.
Yeah, and it's got all those like rocks that they use for grindstones.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're not talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, right at the tip of the pond.
This was taken there, so like. You can't see it because I cropped out the bottom, but I was standing on those stones, and then this was taken towards the east, and. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? This was absolutely spectacular.
Did you have to enhance any of the photos with the colors, or is that what you picked up?
So yeah, none of these photos, all these photos were taken with an iPhone. And this was 30 seconds. I don't usually do degraining on or denoising on my images, so they're a bit noisy, but
Well, so I was just wondering, some of the brilliant ones, if those had, if you bumped up the saturation.
I mean, this
is what.
this is pretty cool. Actually, so the blues and the purple and the kind of green I bumped up. The magentas I had to bump down.
Yeah.
Cause like I took video where I boosted all the settings on my phone through Filmic, and that was too bright. You could I mean, we all know magentas were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here it's almost like here I had to also bring, because I didn't want just the kind of magenta blob, I wanted to see detail, so I went in Photoshop and took the magenta slider and I just put that all the way to back as I could without losing saturation. And then I don't think that's mine. This, yeah, these two aren't mine. That's the,
Sorry.
oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. Well, okay, this was raw from the phone. So I was thinking, because if you take the saturation slider and slide it, but yeah, Alex.
Okay, let's step through these. Oh, the top.
Okay, these are just bad phone pictures and I only shared two because I thought they were nothing special, but whatever. Yeah, this was my first time seeing it, and so Miles and I made a pact that we would go anywhere to see it if it was possible. So we ended up going to Port Huron, which is only like 90 minutes away for us. And this was looking basically due east over Lake Huron, and then that's Vega in the middle. And I didn't touch it up at all, so this is pretty much what we saw, and we didn't see any clouds. And now seeing the pictures, I'm kind of jealous because they were so pretty, but we didn't have any clouds. So this was kind of, I checked, this was 10:05 p.m., which was, I would say, the maximum for us, but I think I saw it start at like 9:30, I think. And then, yeah, and then this was looking basically overhead. Not the best picture, I didn't edit it at all, but this was pretty much what we saw. Yeah.
Hang on, we're hang on. Yeah, so we went to Port Huron, we were at the Lighthouse Beach. And so these photos are touched up a little bit. I had dust on my lens. So I had to get rid of that using, I used Adobe Lightroom. But yeah, here are some of the pictures that I took. Here's looking towards zenith. Moving too fast. I like this one because this is kind of in the way, but you can see all regular Leo right up here, which is kind of nice. And, yeah, this is looking out towards the water is out on the right side here, and then we have the beach and shoreline on the left. And then so here's a satellite. I thought it was the ISS. I will blatantly say that, but it was not. Looking at Sky Safari, it was just a satellite. But I thought it was a beautiful photo, and it looks like it's out of focus for me, just because of the illusion of the satellite. But looking at all the stars and all of that, it's not out of focus. There's no star trailing whatsoever. And then here's looking towards, there's the moon, there's Capella right there, and Pollux and Castor. And yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Miles. We'll be seeing Miles again, by the way, he happens to be our July speaker.
Thank you.
Okay. Jody and Roy McCullough from Eastern Ohio. And I know they're not with us here tonight. They are also very accomplished astrophotographers, so they probably submitted some good stuff there. Like that little beam right there. Nice purple there.
Very deep. You just see their eyes. Wow. Out here.
Another age.
This is a shot that he took. You see the lake shore was supposed to be straight, but it really captured the. I
Yeah,
thought the curtain, in fact, and just the rays coming down. Kind of drove it home.
so this is one he stitched together.
I think
Put
he's
together.
using the panoramic feature.
Oh, okay, just sweet, okay. That's pretty cool.
This has got some kind of wild fish on it.
Camera down. Charlie, when you know, camera down.
Okay.
Camera.
This is Brian and Adrian.
Yeah.
On the beach.
That's beautiful.
It's like a mountain behind.
It's like they're getting radiation burns.
They do glow.
Yeah. Got him?
Wow.
And I can't remember where in Wisconsin it was.
Yeah,
I wanna see if it was near Madison, but I'm not sure.
somewhere in Wisconsin, but
Looks like this is a Samsung phone.
Galaxy S23, yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Where's the pot of gold? At the end of the room.
Behind the house.
Behind the house, yeah, at the back door.
That's good.
That's so cool. Wow.
Like his skies were pretty clear there.
Oh my gosh, it looks like a animal. Like a leopard or something.
A dog.
Like it's ready to attack.
Barry? I don't think I saw Barry.
He is picking up his cat.
Ah.
He lives basically over on Textile near Carpenter Road, so this is basically his, and if it shows his house is kind of facing, is in the south, so he's facing directly south, he's taking that picture.
Right.
Yeah, so this would be like a slightly southwestern view.
That's cool.
That's somebody going crazy to the Aurora.
What is happening
Or
here?
bad.
Oh, wow.
Almost like turquoise.
He told me that it's like he was just, dumbfounded, it's like how bright everything was, and then he didn't need to take a camera to see this stuff. It was
Yeah.
Like, this is what it was.
Yeah.
And that just blew me away, so.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
That's gotta be up towards Zenith.
That are overhead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail, a lot of.
I think it's almost like a butterfly.
No.
Yeah.
This guy, well, these were actually taken on May 11th, the day after. And they're from my house, which they're really subtle. But you can kind of see a little pink in there. I think the other one might be better. But yeah, this was taken a little later at night. And this is directly north from across the street from on my neighbor's place, but you can see just a little bit of stuff going on up there, some pink in here. And it's like I had to double check, and I boosted the saturation a little bit on it, but overall, it's like I was surprised to see that, because our
our northern view is terribly, terribly light polluted. That was my meager contribution to the collection. I felt bad. But I was
unique, just when you thought it was over,
Yeah.
it was not over.
Well, I was on the 10th, I would have been out taking a ton of pictures, but I was playing at the Zalgaz Grotto and I had a very good sax in my hand at the time that these were taken. Most of your pictures anyway. I decided to try to get in on the fun the next night. So.
And Jeff touches on a good point too, that modern cell phone cameras do an excellent job of picking up Aurora. So if you're ever in question that you think you might be seeing, but you're not sure, take your camera out there and it'll show. Because I actually had that happen. I went back out about 12:30 or so, and it was pretty much completely cloudy at that point. And yet looking to the north, I could have sworn I saw a little coloration there. I thought I must be imagining it. So now I remembered that and I went and got my camera and sure enough, I got a picture of a big tree in my front yard. You can see this little glow of red all around the perimeter of the tree. And it was totally cloudy.
I should note that it's like looking to the sky with my eye, I saw nothing.
Yeah.
It just looked like night glow from Nips Landing, but it's like, well, let's take it with a camera and then the camera it picked up the pink and it's like, I think I asked one of my buddies in the club about that. It's like, is this what I'm seeing or not?
Yeah.
But you can pick them up in all kinds of weird circumstances. Move on from these.
I don't see Yoga Sharon or in the audience. That's just cool. Some of these shots looks like a little crack in the
It
ground.
almost,
And all the stuff's pouring out of it or something.
it almost looks like a road, like the pulling it. You fall on this and you fall on this.
I was likening it to a rip in the sky. You always see the science fiction movies. The
Yeah.
what is it, the time warp or a wormhole
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that looks just like that.
That's how they land.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Back to the end. Back over to Look at that.
8:33, time to take your speaker. Do you want a little bit more?
Actually, we got one from Kurt.
Huh.
He got from Alaska, some panoramic one, but it's in the Zoom chat. Oh, there we go. Up here. There it is. Let's see. Yeah,
Wow, look at
and I thought there was some images from New Mexico. Kurt had a bunch of images from Mexico.
Or you think of the eclipse?
Oh,
Yeah, for the eclipse.
you're right.
So I'm not seeing this on my screen, but Kathy and I were on a cruise up the Inside Passage in Alaska. And there was a glow on, yeah, that glow on the horizon about a third of the way from the left edge is Juneau, 60 miles away.
Mhm.
And I think the streaks on the far left are the Steve, the suprathermal something, something, something. But I'm not really sure. But this was taken from the deck of a moving ship. But the waters were so calm that I could get 10-second exposures with minimal star trails.
Yeah, those stars are pretty sharp.
And this is 6 images stitched together. So just thought you folks would like to see a little different take on the auroras.
Yes, that's beautiful.
And Kurt, that does look like Steve to me. That's basically south of the main Aurora band, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I was fortunate to see that back in October. from that same park where I was at.
What is it again? Red Street.
Who is Steve again?
Yeah, somebody, I forget the acronym is.
Steve, it's not quite an Aurora.
No. It's basically, I think, if I remember right, it's something like protons or electrons hitting the upper atmosphere, and it's not exciting them, it's actually heating them to incandescence. And it's not Aurora. You usually see it with an Aurora, and it's heating the upper molecules, and I don't know what altitude or any of the science behind it, but it's basically just superheated air that glows.
Yep, I just did a quick Google for it. It is the strong thermal emission velocity enhancement.
Hey, real quick, what was that? It's not bad.
Yep, and apparently the first study was just published in 2018. So when I took this picture, nobody knew what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
it's only been known about, yeah, only been known about for a decade or less or so.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you guys seeing regular meeting? Oh.
Back there. Share button.
That's still being shared at the share.
Yeah.
Just close, it's fine.
Okay. We will quickly move into officer reports here. I've got a couple of things. First one is we are still looking for another vice president. Does anybody in the room want to do that? If we don't get somebody, we'll do a draft or something. We are known to come after people or elect them when they're not at the meeting and they can't defend themselves. So we'll resort to that if we have to, but we'll continue. So, but we should fill that fourth position. So, another thing is we have a very busy month coming up in June. There's some kind of event pretty much every weekend, starting on June 1st with our first open house. So I will be pretty soon going out and calling for an open house coordinator for that event, as well as some help for it. And I'm gonna follow Don Foley's lead on that like he did. If he doesn't get like 4 people to help out, we're not gonna do it. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't know whether I'm gonna be able to or not, because I've got myself so busy now, it's stupid. What happened is I got lobbied really, really heavy to run for Scioto Township Supervisor again. Like some people of great influence, and it was really hard to say no, but I did, thank God. However, I compromised and decided I'd go for trustee instead. And then what got away from me is because I didn't make the first decision, and basically there at that point sort of take control of the campaign in a sense. I could not prevent some other people from making a terrible mistake. So as a result of that mistake, it made my job way harder. It's mostly what I gotta do in reporting and stuff like this, but oh well. So if I wasn't busy enough already, now I really, really am, so. But I'll help out as much as I can. And one other thing, we're gonna get a report in a little bit from Doug about how many members that we have, and as you notice, that has increased. Even this week by about 3 people. On the other hand, we do sadly occasionally lose members. And occasionally, I've been here long enough, I've had to announce the loss of some of these people. I don't like doing that, but it goes with the job, I guess. So, and we did get notice, Doug Scoble did, from Glenn Bowman's wife, that he had passed away back in January. I know I had met Glenn at some point. He did have some email correspondence. I remember he was involved in astrophotography quite a bit. But to be honest, I really didn't know him particularly. Did anybody in the room know Glenn or? So, but anyway, he was a very, prominent member in the sense that he was active and had been around for a while. So anyway, I would just like to call for just a moment of silence for Glenn. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and one other thing. I have found a speaker for March. Actually, more accurately, he found us. I got an email from a Dr. Richard Goodrich, who actually is from England, as it turns out. He's an author. He's written 2 or 3 different books. He's got a new one coming out. So he does presentations about these books. And he's done several for different astronomy clubs, both in the UK and in the US. And he discovered us. Did have to admit that we have the most unique name that he has ever seen for an astronomy club. So I told him if he's interested, I'll give him the story sometime. But I said, yes, this would be interesting. The particular talk he is proposing is about Halley's Comet, and in particular about the terror that it used to invoke on people, not understanding what it was. So it sounded pretty interesting to me. Anyways, it turns out I have signed him up for the March meeting. That is going to be by Zoom, but not because he's in the UK, because at that time he's going to be in Taiwan. So this might be, I think this will be a record. This will be our furthest reach for a Zoom meeting. In fact, we can't reach much further. I believe that's 12 hours difference.
Yeah.
It's like right down there.
No, aren't they ahead of us?
Yes.
Because it's like tomorrow over
Yeah.
there where.
So we start the meeting here at 7:30. It'll be, I believe, 7:30 AM for him.
Distance wise, Australia,
Yeah.
right?
Right, I think so, yes. Right.
So we're up near the same latitude, so yeah, you're right, it's really close to the max.
Yeah.
Because we did-
Yeah, I remember we had somebody from Paris. What was another one we had from us? I remember Paris. And Brother Guy has talked to us from the Vatican.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's.
And from Arizona one time, when he was down in Tucson.
That's a long.
That's a long way, yeah, but he's willing to do it, so I've signed him up. I think it'll be interesting. But on that note, we are looking for speakers. I think we have got this year filled up. That's assuming that Gary Nichols is able to move to December. I didn't bug him about it, just said I proposed that, but I'll give him a little time to get through his stuff and ask him if that is okay with him. So if not, we'll move him in sometime early next year. My guess is probably gonna work. But if not, then we're gonna need somebody for December pretty quick, so. I think that's all I had. Yes.
About speakers, I'll be starting my PhD in August and I would love to speak about that. But I have to learn about my research first, so yeah, December or later would be good, but I'd love to talk about that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Definitely have to know.
When you said that email out, I was thinking about that. I almost responded and said something, that sounds like good.
That's what they told Jeff, he was like, okay, so you're speaking again, right?
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't take much to get us to get you. No. But you don't know what I'm on for anything.
It's a friendly smiley face, but.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let us know. Okay. Ken.
So I've actually worked to line up possibly 4 speakers. Well, there are 2 speakers. One's got 1 topic and one's got 3 topics. Jeff Morgenthau, who's talked to us about the ions and that we could see in Jupiter's, or around Jupiter, the moons of Jupiter, right? And using, the only fancy part was a filter and the heliograph, which would block out Jupiter. But he has a topic on, one that was really interesting was landslides on comet nuclear, which cause the outbursts that you see. That's the current one of our theories. Another one was on something that he did for his PhD. Another one was on photometry of comet tails. and how amateurs could actually do that. So those are three possible future talks, so I'm trying to line some things up. So if it's not this year or next year, but maybe like we have him talk once a year. Right, and cover one of these topics, I think that might be a nice thing to schedule in. He needs a few weeks' notice, so I said, well, okay, Friday. Yeah, and so, and then the other one that I've lined up is my friend who's a scientist at Goddard, Dr. Ann Parsons, she's working on the Dragonfly mission to Titan. And she offered to give an update on what she's doing with that. So we can try to work those in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have four talks that are possible for future things when we need.
Way to go, Cam.
So we'll see if we can line those up. And that's pretty much the only thing I've.
Excellent. Well, he jumped right in there, didn't he?
Doug Marsh, punched in, Terry Lindahl. With the THIERRY. I don't know who or what he knows. Probably Doug, for sure.
Yeah, we've got,
Yeah.
Doug does leads all the time.
I know, he's got a lot of connections.
Yeah, problem is getting people to pick them up, but I'll bet you'll do it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, cause his are good.
Yeah, he's got some really good speakers.
He does, yeah.
And Kurt says, under Mexico eclipse trip, I got to know an astro professor at Dickinson College whose specialty is astronomy education.
Dickinson?
It's Dickinson College.
Yeah, I know, in Pennsylvania.
It's talk to Carlisle, talk
That's
to
in,
her.
Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I think I went to school.
It says I can check and see if he'll Zoom with us.
Cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And that was Kurt, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got speaker leads to fill up. Well, with the one scheduled, first half of next year, probably. Excellent. It's good to be ahead of the curve, at least up to a point.
Yeah.
So one thing we found, if you get too far out there, you also risk more that it's gonna change when you get closer.
Right.
If something comes up for people, but
We keep them in mind and we ask them as we
Yeah.
get closer.
yeah, exactly. Okay.
Will do.
That it, Ken? Thank you. I did not see Brian in the audience. We do have VP Don here.
Yeah, I just wanted, we had a great open house in the spring and probably one of the better attended open houses that we've had in a long time. We had maybe 10 lowbrows there. We've had 55 for the public, and it was a great fun event. I also did two member only nights at Peach Mountain. The first one was probably the largest attendance to a member night that I've seen. We probably had 10 people with telescopes, and it was a really fun. Didn't get a chance to talk to everybody. Jack had the observatory open for both of us. And the last one was lesser attended. We had 7 of us, but looked at comments and lots of things. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, the spring of the year is a good time to get out and look. You don't often get a chance where you've got mild weather, clear skies. And in the spring is a good time to do that. And still the sun is setting early enough that you get enough darkness to have a good evening before you have to go home and get ready for work the next day. So they were good opportunities. They don't happen very often. A lot of members commented that they'd like to come to another event. But boy, when the weather forecasting tools are getting pretty good now, so that, you know, within 48 hours, we can usually tell whether or not we're going to have a clear night. So have some more, you know, take advantage of those open houses that we have for members, because they can be fun to between when you don't have a moon and clear skies, and, you know, no smoke, that sort of thing. So that's my comment.
So
Yeah, you might have
safe to say that people should be on the lookout for short notices for member only nights, right?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm leaving, I'm going on vacation from May 26th to July 4th. So
I don't know, a lot of you might have noticed we've got the Canadian wildfire smoke already starting again. Not even in the summer yet.
that's why that spring opportunity that we had was so precious.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping it would be another summer like last year, but
They just put out a weather alert for tomorrow.
You're going through the
Yeah,
chain.
certain areas will become. Will be in the orange and considered unhealthy. So that's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was in the thing this morning and.
When's that, like, next week or?
No, this weekend.
No,
Yeah.
this weekend.
They're all yeah. Okay, check.
Okay, for the McMahon, we did have it open and we were running it and the open house and that worked out pretty good. But we do have a minor problem here we're gonna have to take care of. The one night we're out there, we had the using the McMahon adapter. We had different Android devices, but we could not hook up to it. In the past, we've been able to hook up to the Wi-Fi, yeah.
Hooking up to the Wi-Fi specifically.
Yes, hooking up to the Wi-Fi. Well, Sky-Fi Wi-Fi adapter, I should say. And that's the one on the McMahon at the Club 17. So we went out and we did have one person there that had a iPad and he was able to hook up to it. But for some reason we couldn't. So we looked into this a little bit and it's a new, we're looking at a new Sky-Fi 3 adapter. And that adapter will work on Sky Safari Pro on Android, iOS, and Mac. Now, Sky Safari Astronomy right now is sold out of the Sky-Fi 3, but Telescopes Plus has the Sky-Fi 3. They're listing it at $220. So my issue is pick up a new Sky-Fi 3 Pro.
What was the price? $225?
$220 what it says. And I don't know with shipping and whatever, it's gonna come out altogether now. What, we looked at that. And while we were out there, we also looked at the issue of the Argo Navis. And we've had some issues of going on and off again, and you have to reset things in programming about a year ago, I think it was. I think Don, you did some work on the circuit board to fix that Argo Navis up a little bit, stuff like that. So for right now, we'll get the new Sky Safari 3 adapter and look at. I don't know, we're gonna monitor the Argo Navis. We start having problems with that. Don? Yeah, I mean,
My opinion is that Argo Navis is very old.
it is.
But we thought,
Just get another one.
let's get another, Argo Navis is gonna be around forever.
Mhm.
That kind of technology is going by the wayside. We ought to get another Argo Navis. Have it spare.
Yes, that's fine with me,
Yeah.
because
We got that John Paulson and he had it for several years.
I know.
It's dated.
I know they put it in the observatory. I've been the director for 12 years, so that thing's gotta be
It's
18 to 20 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The batteries, the adapter that holds the battery. Repaired it.
That,
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
Good thing.
yeah, get another, whatever it is, $800.
well, that varies. Now, you go to Argo Navis Wildcat, and we have to look at all the connections too. If we do buy a new Argo Navis, are the connections all the same? I think they are. Okay. And I don't,
I'll double check.
yeah, because it was $450 and then with the various device, wiring devices, and things with it, another $130, not to $580. That's if you order from
I move
Wildcat.
that we spend 500 whatever dollars.
Hold on.
Do we need motion for both of those, or is it 222?
Yeah, we would.
Well, 220, the officers can. We can run our own.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
cost, yeah.
But it's 580, or there's other options?
Well, that one's $580. Webster has it for $599. I don't know if what else, what other kind of, what's coming with.
But I would buy from a source that we feel comfortable with.
Yeah,
We know we can get response and support from somebody like Webster.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. Don't buy because buy the best.
Why won't the people will help us?
Yeah.
It's not like we don't have money.
Well, and this is an important reason.
It is to me, I'd rather, when we have them working all together. Spend the night just going opposite. And you know, when we could guys,
To do that. That's bad.
well, I had that past Monday night, and that's 2 nights. We did really well. That's why. And let me keep up with it. Go ahead.
And the reason for the Aurora Davis rather than some of the other devices. Is the Aurora Davis is the only device unknown that has a telescope pointing in a lighting system.
Yes.
So you can characterize the area of the that and really compensate for most other systems.
That's very true. The TPAS mount system, I think they call it. And yes, that is a very well liked system too. And the other companies, yeah, and the other companies, I think Sky Commander's going out of business.
He retired.
He retired.
He's he'll work with you on units that are already feasible.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's retired because, you know, he's older and, you know, so.
Yeah.
We also did the Sky Tracker for Starmaster.
And the reason I bring it up is. If you go back about 5 years ago, there's probably 4 or 5 companies making different kind of tracking things. But that's, in the last few years, that's diminished. So really, you know, and Sky Safari is one, and the Argo Navis is the other one. There's a third one called Nexus. Still in business, still making.
Another Australian.
Yeah,
So is it red time for me to make a motion on this or not?
okay, the
We
more,
got one more. You got
Okay.
any more pieces to go into this or not?
no, we're probably talking too much already.
So
Sorry.
I make a motion that we should spend up to $800, not including the shipping and tax. To get the systems updated on the McMath, the Wi-Fi and the pointing and the systems are gonna.
Correct, that's fine.
Could I have a second?
Support.
I actually support that.
I third it then, we maybe,
Take vote.
So 800.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I,
Motion carried. Oh, come on, Doug. See, of course, it's the guy that doesn't want to release the money. That's true.
He said it.
Well, that's true. But I guess I did say opposed, so anyway. Motion carries. And Jeff?
That's it. We'll leave it alone.
Jeff?
Good.
Blah, 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 blah. Well, you can kind of see the results of what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, with the Auroras and whatnot. We found some interesting aspects of the photo gallery plugin that worked. We didn't use it tonight. I anticipated it, but you can sort the photos by however their title fields are. Which for our case, I put the titles in with the location first and then their names. So you could find out, you know, what was looking like Ypsilanti, or if you search the search bar that's on right, you can actually put somebody's name in there and find just their photos and look through. This screen is a little wonky. It doesn't want to scroll very well. But on your computer, the thing will show you all the photos of that person. So that was a big win. And we did create a separate gallery for those. So I think our member photos and all that are starting to get numerous enough where we might have, you know, for the member stuff, we might have a number of subcategories on that page. It's actually with the Aurora photos, there were more Aurora photos than all of our member submitted stuff, not including the eclipse. That one That one, actually, we took more Aurora photos than eclipse photos. So I think it was around 87 or something eclipse photos, and we've got at least 130. So there was people submitting this afternoon for the Auroras.
You have to worry about storage on those.
No, we don't. Officially, the HostGator people that we had, one of the reasons we chose them was because they don't meter storage. They have so much that they just don't care. They don't care about bandwidth apparently either. Those are two things that they said we don't meter. And to me, I saw that as a really valuable feature, given the fact that we are going to have a lot of photos. Yeah, sure, we're stretching their limits.
But we're not doing it all.
No, we don't have.
The videos aren't long.
That's what I found out with the Aurora things is that this photo gallery plugin does not support video. So we'll have to find a different way of displaying videos for that stuff. And frankly, they're pretty heavy duty to be downloading and streaming stuff. So maybe a streaming plugin or something. But that was kind of the big news. I didn't know that you could do the searching, sorting, and all that. That was pretty cool. There was some news from ITS regarding the old PHP installations. It was just a general thing. And if they fail, they'll be forcing people to move to other systems that are less, I guess, less security prone than the traditional Apache, AFS based. I don't think it affects us. I read it 2-3 times very carefully, and I don't think we're affected. But if something happens and it gets broken into, then that might be the big thing to move us to the new site permanently. I'm trying to get to basically go through those old places and move material into the new. You know, most of the young astronomer stuff is not there yet, and we've got some historical stuff with like McMath history. There's some old member stuff that's buried. It's just kind of, it's not a lot of material. It's easy to move, but this takes some time. Last month or so. I'm no longer on the GLAC board, but I'm kind of the ex officio pro temp board, they're calling it, and I did get a copy of their meeting notes that they held on Monday. The big news is that Astronomy at the Beach cannot be held at Island Lake State Park this year. They're repaving everything. And the week that we're going to have Astronomy at the Beach, both of the entrances and all of the sidewalks are going to be torn up and closed off. None of the parking lots available. I mean, it is closed. The good news is that the ranger that runs Island Lake is working with, drum roll please, Mayberry State Park, which they get virtually no events of this type out there. But for this year, 2024, it will be held at Mayberry State Park. That September 20 and 21st are the 2 dates that we agreed on. The great news is that the Island Lake staff who knows how we operate, knows what's going on, they are working with, they've been assigned to Mayberry State Park in this capacity to make sure this event comes off without a hitch. So that's a really great news. They've already got the deposit down for the tent. The people that do the tents, they did raise their prices for us. There's a lot of other, businessy stuff that doesn't really matter to us. They did fill the marketing position that Brian Autumn held. He wanted to step back like I did. Tisa Allen of the Float Club is in that position. Their theme this year had to change because of the eclipse stuff all kind of fell through and whatnot. Because, well, it already happened. No sense of talking about it. They're talking about our home star. That's the theme for 2024. And 2025, just for information, they're going to talk about sending folks to orbit the moon and landing on the moon. There's some ideas for those.
They're looking for volunteers.
Yeah, and anytime you want to volunteer, they always have stuff to do there. And later,
What has been your construction condominiums up on the moon?
I can answer that, but
Eventually.
I'm sure Charlie can.
There's people that have worked on that theory. When you say about building on what you need to do,
Astronomy.
it's changed last.
This is on black news right now. And later this, well, probably the next month or two, they're gonna be kind of reaching out to donate for donations to the clubs. Typically, the Lowbrows give, I think are $400 or $500.
Yeah.
I think
What is
it's
it,
$500.
The 500?
Too glad. Doug's up. The other announcement that I have, the response that I had after the meeting, last month that I unfortunately did not record. And I will be getting, I'm gonna try to narrate it and put something out on YouTube just as, the document that it happened. But I got good response, last meeting, and in chatting with people, we're gonna put together a planetary, post-processing workshop on July 11th. Be held here at the Detroit Observatory, and we're working with Amy Cantu and Austin Edmister, the assistant director, July 11th. And I believe 7 o'clock is what the time we had. We are gonna make a dry run of it, I think a week before. But just an overview is like, basically, we're not gonna require anybody to have their telescope handy so we can go through how to capture. We're gonna assume you've got captured stuff down. Alni Hafed, he donated 3 of his raw images to use to as lab exercises basically. And we're gonna go over, how to do the stacking, kind of, in light of doing that, going over capture strategy, and then going on sharpening tools and how to do that. Optionally derotation, we get a chance to do that. So if you have Jupiter and you've got lots of images, you will notice changes in the rotation, your software to take care of that with Jupos actually. And then the last bit is, using Photoshop or try to use GIMP to basically do color enhancement. So the idea is going to be to, bring your own machine. We're going to set up a share to download the images, the test images, and I'll have the software I'm going to use anyway, which I think is mostly, well, 2 of them are Windows, the other 2 are diagnostic. But we'll have that stuff available for anybody to sign up. I think in the next week or 2, depending on my nutty schedule, I'll get up like a Google form or something for people to sign up and have some idea of the crowd size. But there was enough interest in that meeting and talking to other people once they found out about it. It's like, hey, that'd be great. And some of the Detroit Observatory docents and assistant docents, student lives, they want to participate as well. And so they're eager to get like a fund. And it ties in well with their programming because they had just done kind of an intro to astrophotography. So they were really interested. So that's my big announcement. We'll see how it comes out. And now that is the basics of the talk. I've got a few extra slides, but it's coming together, and I think probably mid-June. Have a good sense of the program. So maybe for the June meeting, have a short preview. But I'm interested in the topic, and not many people do planetary. So it seems like a neat thing to do.
Don't want to neglect the planets.
What's that?
We don't want to neglect the planets. Thank you, Jeff. In the Zoom audience, Amy.
Yeah, okay. A couple of quick things. The Brian Autumn and I have been trying to see about getting the On the Moon Again event happening on June 14th at the library, and they said okay today. So keep a watch out for that. We'll send more information, but basically bring your telescope if you want, and we can set up on the sidewalk outside the front doors of the downtown library, which is at 343 South 5th Avenue, all along there. So we'll be sending more information about that, and I can put something in the newsletter coming up, but I just wanted it to get on everybody's radar. And then the only other thing is that, if you want to see something other than Aurora photos in the next newsletter, please send in please send in your photos. It's been fun with the eclipse and the aurora. We definitely have enough content for the newsletters, but we're looking for galaxies too. It's galaxy season, so that's it for me.
Thank you, Amy.
Library thing.
No.
We're just.
Yeah.
Doug.
Hello there. Long time no see. I assume you mean treasurer, Doug. Not a whole lot to report other than, as Charlie mentioned, we've added quite a few members, and we've added, I believe 5 since the last meeting, including Miles Mercier, who is going to be our July speaker, right? So he actually joined too, and there's a few others. So our number is up to 206. As far as I know, a high watermark again for our membership. The only other thing to report is Astronomical League is coming up for your membership is coming up for renewal end of June. Their fiscal year goes from July 1st to June 30th. So I'll be prodding you for joining or rejoining Astronomical League. And for those of you that don't know, Astronomical League is probably the premier amateur astronomy organization. They provide lots of resources for observing and photography and observing lists. They've been around for a good long time. And the only news regarding that is after something like 18 years, they're raising the annual dues from $7.50 a year to $9 for the year. It's outrageous that they're raising it that much. That gets you their quarterly newsletter for the year and free access to all their observing programs and all that kind of thing. So it's a really, really, really good deal, even at $9 for a whole year. So I'll be sending out emails for you to join, like I said, join or rejoin. And other than that, I don't think I have anything new to report other than just our normal expenses. Nothing out beyond the open house hotline phone number that we maintain and the printing of the newsletter. And I think we still print 3 copies of it. It's being phased out. There's a couple of hangers honors, and there's another person that is in, as far as I know, in a facility for people with Alzheimer's. But as far as I know, he still wants to see the printed newsletter. So anyway, that's what I have.
How's the weather up there?
It's been awesome up here. Last year, the spring was horrible. It was cold and rainy and just nasty. We've had a lot of sunshine, a lot of just warm weather, 60s. It's even hit the 70s a couple times. Like I said, for the main Aurora event here in town, it was rainy and cloudy, but I did have a really good night on Saturday night. So.
Question about the Astronomical League.
Yes.
It's going up to $9. How many members did we have last year that joined?
I can bring that up.
The reason I'm inquiring is that there is an alternative to joining individually, and that's joining as a club.
Yes.
They're anywhere near the tipping point where it would be just a better idea to spend however much to join as a club.
Well, I think we brought that up in the past, and I don't know. I would have to research what the cost would be. Right now, we have 37 members that currently are Astronomical League members through the club.
That's not anywhere.
Yeah, and if we were to have the club just automatically, we'd have to add whatever the fee is to your annual dues. Because everyone would be charged. It'd be less than $9, but I don't know how much. If it would be $5 a piece or if it's $7 a piece, I don't remember that, but we brought it up every once in a while, and we generally have thought adding it to everyone's dues that doesn't really, so that's 37 members out of over, almost what 206 memberships. That's
No, it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that.
doesn't seem to. So anyway, so look for emails in the next week or so. And the deadline is get the money to me before June 30th, so I can send it in. So. Any other questions? Okay, that's my report. And I will send an email version to whoever's taking the notes, just to make it easier. Who's that?
Ken.
Oh, okay, all right. I generally send it to all the officers, so. You'll find it.
Dimitri, you had something? Second ago? No, okay. Does anybody else have anything to bring up?
Let's show the on the moon.
Well, Amy kind of, yeah, okay, we can put that back. Well, forget you, yes.
Let everybody know, this is like a national program off road.
International.
International, correct. And I went online and picked this up, and I thought it'd be interesting because I think it's kind of interesting having this done at the library. I know Brian Adams got a project he's gonna show there too, so. If you have some time, are they gonna do all 3 days?
The last email I saw was, one of those days was a primary and another was a rain day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you have a telescope, you'd like to come on out, like Amy was talking about, this is something that's gonna be done internationally.
Yeah, the club participated last year for the first time, because we just happened to have a first quarter moon night out at Peach Mountain, so I sent in the information to them. But this will be an event that out on the streets of Ann Arbor, we should have a whole lot more people come and look at this.
Oh, yeah.
So I encourage everybody.
I'm through.
There was gonna be another meeting where the members were gonna speak on something that they did.
Yes,
I
October.
forgot when it was and what the subject.
October to see eclipse. We have you down for it.
Thanks for the.
Oh. Yes, that timed showing of astro photos. It is next month, isn't it?
I have checked, I think so.
No, I got it right here.
That's another thing.
Didn't see it. Yeah, it is.
What is?
Yeah, that time showing of astrophotography. Is that the one you're thinking of?
I'm thinking probably both of those.
Okay, yeah, so that one is next month. And you're down for that one too. Timed showings of astrophotography. That's the thing, we're gonna give everybody a certain amount of time. They gotta get through their pictures, or I corral them or something like that.
Is that June 21st?
Yes.
If we signed up for that, how do we send a PowerPoint presentation to you guys, or how's that gonna be done?
Yeah.
Probably bring it on a flash drive,
Flash drive works.
so it'd be easy to switch people's flash drive.
Yeah, in this case,
And that would be the same for October.
yeah,
What's that?
that's what I'm thinking. Well, I hope we have a flash page.
June 21st.
Pictures.
Yeah, we do that.
So October, we could do the same format we did tonight. Since we have ovals on our website. We got a while to think about it. In fact, we'll see how the USB thing works too, after next month, and maybe we'll see which one we like better. So,
Is this our own, this is a security issue, because in the past, I did a lot of work at a lot of companies that USB drives were not allowed in the building.
Yeah.
Is this our,
This is
Are you using our own-
Michigan, they don't care.
yeah, we've used USB drive here before, no problem.
okay, you're up.
Yeah, shouldn't be an issue. Jim?
Yeah, this is one mostly for the officers. I've, for several years, have been the contact between us and the people that put out the observer calendar. I'm willing to keep doing it just to save the hassle of dealing with the observer, trying to keep up with
Appreciate it, yeah.
changing officers.
They're on
But the officers should consider whether they want an officer to be doing this.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're continuing willing to do it.
Well,
The question is, what's involved? I don't know what's involved.
he sends out toward the end of every month, he sends out an email asking for our events for the following month. So the deadline for the observer calendar in June was May 10th. And it's generally the 10th of the month for.
I don't know enough about the schedule throughout the year. You've done enough of the job. You know, that we're gonna go very active.
Yeah, it's not,
The experience that you've got.
it's not complicated, but
No, but the experience does help. You
Yeah.
know what might work.
yeah, the main thing is, while I'm still on the. Basically, former officers are still on the email, as far as I know, on the officer emails. Keeping up with you guys isn't a problem, but I'm not always gonna be around, that's why I said that.
Yeah.
You need to know what goes into it before I say,
Yeah.
yes, I take it. I need to see if I can.
It's basically sending out email under.
That's more of a timing issue than anything.
Right, I'm just starting at this, I haven't quite worked out this. But soon. Give me a little while to figure it out.
Anything else? Don?
Do we still have a vacancy for an officer?
Yes.
Yes, or be, got somebody in mind? He's got that look on his face, no?
I'm just
Oh,
curious.
okay. He's thinking about somebody, I can kind of tell. Anything else?
I'm a new member and I have some things, back channel communications with Jeff and maybe Don, are you Jeff? I am John.
Okay. John, nice to meet you. Glad you made it.
I'm a new member too.
I was gonna say, yeah, you look like you're new.
That's because, yeah, just retired from gym, I used to be a member of GM Astronomy Club. But then somehow it's not very active, and I knew about you guys before, so just looked you up and said, my man, and I'm here.
Good.
Yes.
Do you know Sergey?
What?
Sergey, did you know Sergey?
I'm not sure.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Here.
Support?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.